Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Richard Allen will be sentenced next month after being found guilty of murdering girls Libby German and Abby Williams on a hiking trail in.
And good morning and welcome to the video live stream for the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. We really appreciate you joining us and got a bunch of folks in the studio this morning. Let's see, I have Chris Cook. He's the president of the, let me get this right, Harbor Shores Community Redevelopment.
That's right.
Okay.
Good morning, Ken.
Good morning. It's great to have you in here. Can't wait to talk with you about your background and some of the exciting things that are happening in that area. Also here with us this morning is Sarah Spoonholtz. Let me get the camera adjusted just a hair.
You really don't have to.
No, that's fine. When the new cameras are operational, it's going to be amazing because that'll just like zoom out, zoom in. Nobody will know what's happening.
Like an owl.
It is. It's kind of like an owl, except it's not smart like an owl. I have to push the buttons over here. It doesn't automatically focus. But Sarah's with the Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber, and you're going to be educating us on a lot of fun commercial type activities that are happening here business-wise.
Yeah, we've got a lot of great stuff coming up the next few weeks. Like, it feels like it's a sprint to the end of the year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You got to get a lot of stuff in. Is it hectic at this time for you?
Yeah. So we've got 2 brand new events that we have coming up in the next, less than a month. We've got invoices for 25, wrapping up business after hours, strategic planning for 25. Our annual meeting coming up in February.
Yes.
So everyone's like, well, when's your slow time? And I'm like, what's that?
It doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen. Plus ribbon cuttings. We've got the unveilings of the 2 MLK monuments happening actually next week.
Yeah, it snuck up on us fast. I think we're 6 days out.
Yeah. And then the CGA, our Bridgman CGA, has their annual meeting this week. So it's just, there's a lot of things happening right now.
For those who don't know, a CGA is?
Chamber and Growth Alliance.
Yeah.
So this is our hyper-local economic development and chamber services for individual communities. So for this one, it is the city of Bridgman and Lake Township.
Excellent. Okay. Well, we'll talk more about those things and what else is happening with the chamber. That's coming up after news right here on WSJM. And then we'll get into our interview with Chris Cook. Been looking forward to this for a long time. This will be good. Yeah, good. Excellent. All right. It's the WSJM Morning Show. We will be right back after news.
Literature professor, Dr. Camille Alexander.
We should reclaim our space. This is our campus. This campus does not belong to the assailants.
One person now under arrest. New worries about whooping cough. Officials in Washington state say cases statewide there are up more than 2,000% this year. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Bioptimizer's Black Friday blowout sale is now. For 20 years, Bioptimizers has provided top supplements like Magnesium Breakthrough, the only product with all 7 types of magnesium to support sleep, stress management, hormone balance, and mood. Make your health a priority this holiday season and visit bioptimizers.com/radio and use code RADIO to get a minimum of 10% off and up to $100 in free gifts with purchase. Go to bioptimizers.com/radio and use code RADIO today.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
Taking a look at the temperature outside right now, 36 degrees in Benton Harbor, mostly cloudy. St. Joseph, 38. South Haven, it's 38 degrees. Buchanan, 36 degrees. Dowagiac, 35. Chilly start to the morning. Again, mostly sunny skies expected today, a high around 47 degrees. East winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight's forecast, mostly clear, 34 degrees for a low. East winds 5 to 10. Wednesday, partly sunny to start the day. Then we get a 20% chance of showers during the day. That becomes an 80% chance of showers tomorrow night. A high tomorrow around 50 degrees. Southeast winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. We'll keep the chance of rain on Thursday. Mostly cloudy skies on Thursday with a 60% chance of showers. High around 52 and a low around 45. Friday, we clear things up. Mostly sunny on Friday, a high of 53, low of 44. We're going to keep similar conditions for Saturday. Some of the news that we're following in the WSJM newsroom this morning: a Bangor man is dead and a Lawrence woman seriously injured following a 2-vehicle crash in Van Buren County's Geneva Township Monday. It happened early in the day. The Van Buren County Sheriff's Department says it was on M43 near 66th Street around 5 a.m. Deputies say a Toyota Camry was eastbound when a deer ran out onto the roadway. The driver hit the deer, lost control of the vehicle, drove into oncoming traffic. That caused a head-on crash with a westbound vehicle. Both drivers were trapped for a period of time. The driver of the Camry, identified as a 28-year-old Bangor man, was later pronounced dead at the scene. The driver of the other vehicle, a 36-year-old Lawrence woman, was taken to a hospital. As a result of the crash, M43 was shut down for several hours. Michigan State Police is still investigating. State officials remind drivers, do not veer for deer. Just remember that. If you do encounter a deer on the roadway, use your brakes to slow the impact and then move to the side of the road with your flashers on to warn other potential motorists. Berrien County's Regional Education Services Agency, RESA, is looking at innovative ways to help schools help students better improve their learning and feel more connected in their school communities. As part of Berrien RESA's board meeting yesterday, the agency awarded 7 classroom innovation grants designed to improve outcomes in math, reading, and belonging. RESA Superintendent Eric Hopstock says the handful of grants will help individual schools act on very specific needs within their classrooms, with the idea that if they're successful, they could be used elsewhere in the region. Hopstock says the programs extend beyond traditional learning. For instance, a program in Benton Harbor will start the Early Start for Bright Smiles program.
And it was tied to kids that don't have good dental hygiene, but it could create an environment in schools where they could take care of their hygiene there at school. They would feel better about themselves. They wouldn't shirk. And so we thought we're going to give that one a try.
Programs vary by the need identified in each school. Grant recipients include Benton Harbor, Lakeshore, Brandywine, Buchanan, St. Joseph, and the Niles school districts. Hopstock tells us he's looking forward to seeing the results of these initiatives to see where else in the county programs like this might help. November is Lung Cancer Awareness Month, and Berrien County Cancer Service is kicking it off with a Give Back Night event. The nonprofit organization is hosting a gathering at Pete's Cider Social in Stevensville to raise money to fund cancer support services for people with the disease in Berrien County. BCCS Director of Development Tiana Essig tells us this event is to help spread awareness about the importance of getting screened for lung cancer.
The earlier you find this kind of thing, the smaller the tumor would be, and then the easier it is for doctors to be able to get rid of it or get that out of your system. So a lot of people, if they wait until they have pain, they already have something pretty severe going on.
Essig says the event will be a mix of fun and education, including plans for ongoing cancer awareness efforts now and into 2025.
We're going to give it's sort of a pre-launch. We're going to kind of let everybody know what our events that we'll be doing in 2025. And so we're going to have some, a few sneak preview things like that. We're going to also have some door prizes for people who do attend. And the nurse navigator, Karen Kintup, will speak a little bit about lung cancer.
The event is set for November 20th from 5 to 7 p.m. at Pete's Cider Social at 6201 Red Arrow Highway in Stevensville. Attendees are encouraged to wear white to show support for lung cancer awareness. You can contact the Berrien County Cancer Service Office for more information. That's a look at some of the news that we're following this morning on this Tuesday, November 12th. I'm Ken Lundberg. It is the WSJM Morning Show. And it's because it's Tuesday, we've got a packed show. Why not, right? We've got in the studio, and we're going to start this interview in just a couple of minutes, Chris Cook, who is the president of Harbor Shores Community Redevelopment. He's held a lot of different titles here, but the one common nexus of all of them is it's about the community. It really feels like. So we'll talk with you in just a couple of minutes, Chris.
Absolutely.
Also, Sarah Spoonholtz is here with the Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber of Commerce. Good to see you, Sarah.
I know it's a mouthful. It's a tongue twister.
My mouth has not woken up as of yet, so
the coffee hasn't hit.
My apologies. It's got to be stronger. Sarah, good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to see you.
You too. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. It's it's Tuesday. It's chilly outside. It's supposed to be chilly, so I feel good about that. Tell us a little bit about what's going on at the chamber.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So where do I even begin? So coming up this Thursday, tickets are still available for the Greater Bridgman Chamber and Growth Alliance annual meeting. That'll start at 5:00. Doors will open 5:30. The presentation starts at, I'll be happening at Haymarket Tap Room in Bridgman. It's $25, to attend, and does include dinner and a lot of really great conversations and opportunities to connect. I believe Vince told me he was doing pizza, salad, and maybe pulled pork sliders.
Pizza's really good out there.
It is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Excellent.
Delicious. And then next week, we also have our professional and soft skills boot camp with Lake Michigan College that happens on Monday. That is a full day session, 9 until 4. So if you have people on staff, maybe new staff members that you're wanting them to just kind of refine some of their skills. Like, let's be honest,
Yeah.
COVID kind of caused a lot of us to
Boy,
lose
I
some
tell
of that.
you, yeah.
Like, I don't have a poker face anymore. And I,
Life's too short for a poker face.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So there are still a handful of spaces available for that.
Okay.
Of course, we've got the double MLK monument unveiling with the Unified Civic Monument Project next Tuesday.
Yep.
Hype happens on Wednesday. That is free to attend. We do ask, though, that you reserve your seats in advance just because space is limited for it. But we only have a handful of tickets available left for that. And then, of course, on Thursday, because we can't put enough into next week, Thursday, we also have a ribbon cutting with Logan and the Lake Michigan College for the expanding therapy services that Logan is bringing to Lake Michigan College. And that's just a quick look at it. And then coming up in December, we've got Strong Towns. It's a 2-day housing summit that'll happen Thursday, December 12th from 5 until 7. We're bringing in Chuck Marone, the man behind Strong Towns. And then Friday, December 13th. Woo, Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th.
From 8 until about 1:30 will be the breakout sessions that we'll be doing as well. And we just got confirmation that those are AICP credits available for the session on the 13th.
That's important to people because
so to be a certified planner, civic planner, you do have to do continuing education to continue credits, much like teachers and other industries. So this is available for them as well. So we are working on finalizing that, but that will be an opportunity as well.
Do you have all this memorized? Because you didn't look at a lick of notes.
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay. You had it on your smartphone.
I know there's 3 things on here that I am going to forget because,
About Strong Towns. And in fact, we have Arthur Havlicek coming in from the chamber tomorrow to talk a little bit more about that. Give us again, that event is when?
It is, it's a 2-day event, December 12th and 13th. So Thursday and Friday. Tickets are $20 per person. That gets you access to both events. Thursday night will include a book signing by the author Chuck Marone. So we're partnering with the Southwestern Michigan Association of Realtors to have books available for everybody. We're expecting 200 people that day. And it's going to cover a wide variety of topics: the Strong Towns approach, incremental development in terms of housing projects, zoning reform, as well as I believe it's parking minimums is the third one. And then if we do have time, we are going to also squeeze in a little bit about collaborative efforts.
Excellent. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted Arthur to come in tomorrow, is because you're facilitating this discussion to talk about Strong Towns. And you think about, okay, if you start from scratch putting a town on paper, you can think about all the things like parks and parking and businesses and residential and all those other things. And you think about, okay, the economic activity can flourish this way. But if you've already got a town and it's had a lot of mismatch, pitch patch, that kind of stuff, what do you do now?
Yep.
And that's kind of the thought behind bringing Marone in.
Yeah. And also just there's such a need right now in the whole Tri-County area for housing. Yeah. For housing, for childcare. I mean, we can go on and on.
Sure.
But it's the if you build it, they will come mindset to a certain degree. So how do we work with the local municipalities? How do we, help provide them with information to make it easy for developments to come in so that they can, have something done quick and easy that's going to save time, that's going to save permit fees, that's going to save just a lot of stress on the builder's ends and the homeowner's ends, and just make it something that is almost turnkey in a certain way, but also provide them with information that, hey, maybe it's been 30 plus years since you've taken a look at your zoning and coding, and perhaps now is a great opportunity to look at that and to update it and to make it a little bit more friendly.
Love it. All right. And that's coming up in December, but we're going to talk about it at length tomorrow as well with Arthur Havlicek. That'll come up from 7 to 8 o'clock tomorrow. He's going to be my friend tomorrow on Ken and Friends. All right. It's the WSJM morning show. Right now, we've got Chris Cook in studio. We're going to start that interview with him on the video live stream for about 2 minutes, and then we'll come back and have it here on the radio. Right now, though, we're going to get Dave Wolf and sports.
The NBA's marquee game last night was in Chicago, where the Bulls were hosting.
All right, I'll say it on the air too. You are the best. Thank you for coming in today. It's good to see you. All right. We'll turn off your microphone now. Aren't they fancy new microphone arms? Aren't those cool? Yeah. Yeah. We're redoing the studio. It'll be fun.
Nice.
All right.
You too. Take care.
We want to say good morning to Chris Cook, who let's see. Where do we even start? Most currently, you are the president of Harbor Shores Community Redevelopment. I had to put a list together.
Oh, boy.
And I had to narrow it by just titles of president. Because there's a ton here. Yeah,
It's been a good run.
Yeah, I'd say. I mean, you've been president and CEO of Abernmarsh. Am I saying that correctly?
You are. Very good.
Thank you. Because there was somebody who's been here for 33 years and kept trying to tell me it was Abernmarchy. And I said, no, you're just trying to make me look silly.
Well, bon marché would be the French.
Oh.
And that means a good deal or a fair price.
Bon
And that's
marche.
where the name came from.
Very
back
nice.
when Ron Schultz founded the company in 79.
No kidding.
Yes.
Okay. I used to shop at the Bon Marché.
There you go.
Apparently it was a good deal. I don't know. All right. But you've been president of the American Council of Engineering Companies.
Yes.
President of the Michigan Society of Professional Engineers. President of, let's see, the 2024 Michigan Engineering Michigander Award. I mean, there's a lot there.
That was pretty nice award to get. That the engineering school at the University of Michigan acknowledged all those efforts in our communities.
Yeah. All right. Let's unpack all of that. Let's go back to the radio so everyone can hear it. It's the WSJM Morning Show. And good morning. Welcome back to the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg, and with me, my special guest this morning is Chris Cook. And as we were just talking about off on the video live stream, he is the current president of Harbor Shores Community Redevelopment. He's also been the president and CEO of Abernmarsh. He's been the president of the American Council of Engineering Companies and president of Michigan Society of Professional Engineers. And also, as we were just mentioning, he received the 2024 Michigan Engineering Michigander Award from the University of Michigan. Go Blue.
Go Blue.
Go Blue. So welcome to the studios. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Ken. Great to be here.
What we like to do, typically, if you're game, is when we bring a guest into the studio is ask you to just tell us a little bit about yourself. For those who haven't had the opportunity to meet you, where are you from? Where you been?
Well, where am I from needs to start right down the street.
Okay.
So I was born in the hospital right down on Union, and then raised basically a neighbor to you at the Cook Heating and Air Conditioning site right here on Napier Avenue.
No kidding.
So that was my grandfather's business and then my dad's business. And so that's where I lived my entire life. Went to school here at Lake Michigan Catholic.
Okay.
Now Our Lady of the Lake. Met my wife actually in first grade. We went to school together through first through 12th grade.
No kidding.
And then we went off to college together to
when
the
did
University
you know you
of
were
Michigan.
a couple?
Well,
was it anywhere between first and 12th grade?
Yeah,
Okay.
there were attempts on my part, several attempts on my part to send her little love notes that said, "Do you like me?" or
Aw.
"Do you love me?" or "Hate me?" or stuff like that. I got a few maybes. I figured that was good enough.
Very nice.
And then at junior year of high school, we started dating.
Okay. All right.
Been together ever since.
That's great.
So we went up to Cadillac, Michigan for 5 years. I worked for an engineering firm there. She worked for a CPA firm. She's a CPA.
Okay.
And then our first child was born in 1990, Emily. And then Colleen was soon to come in 1992. So the pull to come back home was pretty strong. Yeah. Katie, my wife, had interned with Plant Moran. And they did a bunch of audits for schools and things. And she said, I've seen this company come through on our audits. They do all this work for schools, Abernmarsh. You ought to give them a call. So I talked to Ron Schultz. And next thing you know, we moved back here. I was hired and spent 1 year with my dad in between there at Cook Heating. And then in 93 started with Abernmarsh and I'm still there today, serving on their board. But in 2019, myself and another of the majority partners sold to the next group of owners and leaders, and that's been going great ever since. So hard to believe it's been 5 years.
Yeah. And then was it 2022? You became president of the Harbor Shores Community Redevelopment Group.
Right. So the sale of the firm in 2019 left me with a little bit more time on my hands.
Yeah.
Still engaged a little bit with Avonmarsh, but part-time. And so Harbor Shores called and said, hey, we have a need for someone to manage this development.
Yeah.
You've been involved with it. You're for the entirety of the development. I was in on the early planning, which was awesome. And it just was a great opportunity. It fit in with my schedule, something I'm passionate about, helping to build the community and try to help bring some more housing and development to our area. Just seemed like the perfect time, the perfect opportunity, and was lucky to be there at the right place at the right time.
Yeah. What did you go to school for when you went to college?
Oh, civil engineering.
Okay. And that's what you are, and that's what you became. For those who don't know, like me until I looked at it, what is a civil engineer?
Well, a lot of people think it's the guy that's standing by the road looking through the little thing.
It's not.
Those are surveyors, but
Okay.
civil engineers do some of that.
Okay.
But basically, we design, in my world, design roads, water, sewer systems, parks, bridges, those sorts of things.
Yeah.
Some do structural with buildings, some do mechanical design for buildings as well. So a variety of things, but that's largely what civil engineers do.
I mean,
infrastructure.
Yeah, essentially, if you look at it at anything that isn't natural, growing from the ground, or even that, maybe depending on where you put it, it has some root somewhere in some sort of engineering practice. And when you uniform it, you standardize it, you make it a civil engineer of we're going to plan to put something here for that need.
Yes,
that's it.
That's it. You got it.
Wow. And you do nothing small, Chris, because I mean, as I was mentioning, part of your resume, your CV here, president of. Tell us how you go to those positions. What's your leadership strategy, your leadership philosophy?
I don't know that I necessarily have one other than to serve others.
Yeah.
Just always felt like giving back, doing what I can to help lead was important. And so it all just kind of happens. It's not like it's any sort of mission per se, but I always felt like there's, I guess in some ways, if you feel like you can do it, and the old adage, if you're not going to do it, who will?
Yeah.
So I've just always felt the need to kind of step up and do my thing, do my part.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's resulted in we talked about this a little earlier. The common nexus between a lot of what you've been involved in is community and thinking about Harbor Shores. One of the reasons I reached out to you a few weeks ago is because of the Modern Plastics purchase. Harbor Shores had decided we're going to bid on this property, and for anyone who knows Modern Plastics, maybe just describe, or doesn't know, describe what kind of state that property is in right now.
Oh, it's bad.
Yeah.
So it's been left neglected for about 10 years or so. And it's a real eyesore in the community. So, I have to drive by it every day and see it there, and then got wind that it was going to be available through the auction.
Yep.
And so started to do some investigation, environmental studies. There are issues to be resolved there. A demolition order for the building.
Yeah.
It was overgrown. I took a tour with the public safety folks from Benton Harbor. It's been gutted.
Mm-hmm.
So people have taken anything of value out of there. Some folks are living in there. It's not good. There's asbestos. There's a whole open pit of water inside there.
Goodness.
So the first things first of all, we had to decide whether we wanted to bid on it.
Yeah.
And just felt like it was important to make sure that we acquired it and that we could do our thing and make it a better thing for the community.
Mm-hmm.
Get it cleaned up. And so that's kind of how we approached it. And then, so the first thing that we've done since acquiring it at the auction, we were the only bidder.
Yeah.
The only ones crazy enough to do it, I guess.
Yeah.
Is to secure the site. So we've secured the fencing and opened up the view of the building. So cut down a lot of the scrub growth and whatnot that was blocking it to help with public safety so that they can make sure that it's open and obvious whether people are in there or not, and just kind of give it a little better look from the street.
Sure.
And then the county, Berrien County's been a huge help in all of this. They are stepping up and helping with the state to get it demolished.
Mm.
And then once it's demolished, we can get a little better understanding of what the environmental issues are. And then from there, develop our plans. At this point, we really don't have plans other than to get that eyesore removed. We hope that we can put some housing there, but it's really going to all depend on those environmentals.
Yeah. All right. We're talking with Chris Cook. He is the president of Harbor Shores Community Redevelopment, and we're talking about some of the properties that are in that area. We'll continue talking about that and maybe some of the potential options that are on the table. As you mentioned, maybe some commercial, maybe some residential. Talk about what that's going to take to get that property back up to snuff, which is going to be a lot.
It will.
It will be a lot. So we'll talk about that with Chris and more in just a few moments. We've also have Bloomberg. We'll have the Market Minute, ABC News, our local news, and we'll continue this interview on the video live stream as well. This is the WSJM Morning Show.
About building your savings? Probably. Has it been hard to set money aside? Always.
And good morning. Welcome back to the video live stream, exclusive content. We're talking with Chris Cook, president of Harbor Shores Community Redevelopment. Civil engineering. How did you know you wanted to be a civil engineer? We'll get back to the Harbor Shores stuff in a minute, but I'm fascinated by engineering in general. And how did you decide I want to go into civil engineering?
Well, it was a kind of a long road. I was good at math in school. I was okay at science. So math and science, you probably want to be an engineer. So that's what all the aptitude tests came back with and whatnot. So went to engineering school, tried mechanical in large part because my father being heating and air conditioning contractor.
Yeah.
And then dabbled in a few other engineering disciplines and even considered being a weatherman.
Okay.
And then
engineering to meteorology?
Well,
is that logical?
Just seemed cool.
Okay.
And so that didn't last real long either. And then I got an internship here one summer and I just loved it. So then that's what I did.
That's awesome. Do you have heroes or mentors? Are there people that you look up to in that industry, civil engineering?
Well, being president of the ACEC, those were all of my peers. And so people that are the other CEOs of the main firms in Michigan, those folks were awesome. And Larry Merritt was the one who gave me that internship back when I was in college. So he certainly taught me a lot, as did Ron Schultz, who I worked under for about 15 years at Abbenmarsh.
So they say once you get up to the top leadership of a organization, you don't get to do the stuff that you got into the business of doing. Is that true?
No.
Okay.
It's true in some part, but I tried to make sure that I always stayed engaged in projects. So even though I was CEO, I still wanted to be engaged in projects, especially in Benton Harbor and St. Joe. And so I made it a point to stay involved in those. Now, a lot of other people did the hard engineering, but I stayed involved as project manager and kind of still got to exert some influence over what got designed and was more of a kind of a higher level thinker as far as trying to find ways to get the project done maybe a little more efficiently or kind of out of the box thinking type things.
Yeah. What would you say your biggest project has been? I think I know the answer.
Well, it's got to be Harbor Shores, and just 15 years of work on that, and we're still going with probably 15 more.
For 15 years, it doesn't seem like very long ago, but for those who might be watching or listening to this who weren't around for that period of time, what kind of feat was it to bring Harbor Shores into reality?
500 acres of polluted, dilapidated, left to rest property. Just acquiring all those properties was monumental.
Right.
Finding the money to clean it up. And then Jack Nicklaus gets excited about building a golf course here. And then taking down the interchange on M63 and you name it. I mean, all the industrial buildings that needed to come down, and then a recession.
Yeah.
And then, we're starting to build homes right at that time. That was horrible.
When the markets crashed.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so now things have really picked up nicely. And, I was fortunate to come in 2 years ago with some momentum already building from a housing perspective. So now we just got to keep it going.
From the time that you became involved with that till now, how much of the vision has been realized, would you say? Percentage?
I'd say roughly half.
Okay.
Yeah.
So still a ways to go.
Ways to go. Yeah. We have like 250 units built.
Different residences.
Residences, yes.
Okay.
And we have a parcel that I'm going to talk to you about in a little bit in St. Joe, parcel 1 and 2 along the river, that has 200 units in it.
200 units in it.
Yes.
That's a big one.
So
Okay.
there we go. That puts us roughly halfway there.
Okay. We'll continue that conversation in just a moment. We're talking with Chris Cook. He's the president of Harbor Shores Community Redevelopment, and a lot of exciting projects happening right here on the WSJM Morning Show. We'll be back.
Like it. Their satisfaction rate is 98%. Imagine that. And MediShare is a proven thing, too, for over 30 years. It's a Christian community of hundreds of thousands of people now. And here's the thing. If you join before November 15th and you mention the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fee. So you save even more right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call and you'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline is November 15th. So call now. You'll save even more. Here's the number, 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE, 855-51-BIBLE.
The Bloomberg Business Minute on WSJM is brought to you by Sturgis Bank and Trust. Let's grow together. Serving Berrien Branch, Kalamazoo, St. Joseph, and Van Buren counties. Now with 2 new locations in St. Joseph, downtown, and on Cleveland Avenue. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Stocks rose to start the week with Wall Street closing at new record highs and new milestones. The Dow jumped 304 points and closed above 44,000. The S&P 500 closed above the 6,000 mark for the first time, rising 0.1%. The Nasdaq gained nearly 0.1%. Southwest Airlines will offer buyouts or extended leaves to airport workers in 18 cities, including Los Angeles, Atlanta, Buffalo, and Myrtle Beach. In offering the packages, the airline pointed to fleet delivery delays, forcing Southwest to cut overall capacity. The new buyout and extended leave offers are also going to workers at airports in Detroit, Tampa, and San Jose. And the interim CEO at Chipotle Mexican Grill will remain in the job. Scott Boatwright was named to the top spot on a permanent basis. He's been in the role since August when Brian Niccol left Chipotle to become CEO of Starbucks. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
And we continue on the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. Thanks for joining us. Temperature check outside, 36 degrees in Benton Harbor. Got a couple degrees chillier. 37 degrees in St. Joseph, 35 in Buchanan, and it's 35 degrees in Niles and Dowagiac right now. We've got a forecast for today. It's going to call for mostly sunny skies. Good news. High around 47 degrees. East winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight's forecast mostly clear. Low around 34. East winds 5 to 10. We don't see any rain until tomorrow. Sometime tomorrow afternoon during the day, we have a 20% chance of rain. And then as we go into the evening, that becomes an 80% chance of rain. So if you have any outdoor plans tomorrow night, well, wear a coat. Number 2, wear a rain jacket because it's going to rain. 7:35 is the time. We're continuing our interview with Chris Cook. A lot to talk about in regards to Harbor Shores development. So we'll get back to that interview in just a moment. We've got ABC News.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. A New York judge will decide today whether the 32 felony convictions against Donald Trump should be tossed out because of the recent Supreme Court ruling. Here's ABC's Aaron Katursky.
That decision the judge is going to make here today is going to determine whether President-elect Trump takes office as a convicted felon. You'll remember it was back in May. A jury here found Trump guilty of charges that involved money he had paid just before the 2016 election to silence adult film actress Stormy Daniels about their long-denied affair. Trump argued that conviction should be thrown out because of the U.S. Supreme Court ruling on presidential immunity.
The president-elect, meantime, sources say, will name Florida Senator Marco Rubio as the country's next Secretary of State. The FAA considering banning all flights into and out of Haiti following the barrage of bullets aimed at a Spirit Airlines flight as it was coming in for a landing on Monday. A driver in China killed 35 people when he deliberately rammed his car into people exercising. Police say he was upset over a divorce proceeding. This is ABC News.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
7:36 is the time. Thank you so much for joining us on the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. We've got 36 degrees and mostly cloudy skies in Benton Harbor right now. We are continuing our interview with Chris Cook. He's the president of the Harbor Shores Community Redevelopment Group, and we appreciate all the information and insights you've given us so far. You told us how you met your future wife when you were in first grade.
Yep.
Did you ever pull her hair?
Actually, I did all the time. She had a great ponytail, and I would tug on it, and she would kick me, and I figured that was true love.
That's true love, and you're still together. That's fantastic. So you told us a little bit about that. You told us about your background, your school, some of the positions that you've held, but we haven't delved too much into it because we've got a lot to talk about as far as Harbor Shores goes. And since you are president of the Harbor Shores Community Redevelopment, we've been talking about modern plastics. Why don't we talk just a little bit more about that, and then you've got some additional development news that you want to share with us. But
Sure.
First, on modern plastics, so what are the options on the table for development there? So right now where it stands is you've cleaned the shrubbery, you've put in some environmental monitoring, you're working with a lot of local, state agencies, probably federal agencies as well, to figure out how to best clean that up and how to pay for it.
Yes.
Because there's just a ton of stuff there. You got Ox Creek to worry about. What's going to
Yes.
happen with Ox Creek? Do you know yet if there's any contamination going in there?
We don't really know much about that. Berrien County's been a huge partner in this, and they've helped secure some grants from the state to get it demolished.
Okay.
And then once it comes down, we'll be able to finish up the environmental studies. At that point, we'll know a little bit more about what's going on and what is impacting the creek.
Yeah.
I would expect that whatever we do will have to help clean up that creek.
Yeah.
And then, hopefully there are other grants down the road to help get the environmental work done. And then we can kind of evaluate, okay, what does the environmental require us to do or allow us to do? And we certainly hope that we can build some more homes there. We need more housing throughout the county, especially in Benton Harbor. And we'd like to put some housing there, but we'll see again what we're allowed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The structure itself, what would you say land mass that takes up, an acre? Maybe
Probably
a couple
something like that. Yeah.
couple acres, but you've got 10 acres total there.
Yes, we do.
How much of that has potential for environmental issue?
I really think just where the building is located.
Okay.
So that leaves us hopefully with quite a bit more space that we can do some good stuff with.
Yeah, it's really good news. And to me, it seemed like very good news that an entity that had experience in remediating some of the environmental issues that you did with that 500 acres of Harbor Shores can focus on that area, which...
Correct. Yep. We've done this before, and so we hope we can do it again. Yeah.
What are the next steps timing wise, and when will you know more about what you need to do there?
Yeah, so we expect that the demolition will start in the spring, probably take a few months to get it down and tidied up. Then the environmental work can commence a second time.
Yeah.
And so that probably takes us another year into 2026. And then, we'll see what it takes to get it cleaned up. So, I think we're still several years off from any construction there, but we've got to start now. Otherwise it'll never happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And just insight on what it takes to clean up when there's contaminated soil. Do you basically just move the soil somewhere else?
Sometimes yes. And sometimes there's mechanisms to cap it.
Okay.
And other times there's chemicals and other treatment systems that can be put into the ground to try to help extract whatever.
Yeah, just find some microbes that can eat all the
that
pollution.
Would be great, yes.
That'd be amazing. We're talking with Chris Cook. He's the president of Harbor Shores Community Redevelopment. We'll continue to watch developments with the Modern Plastics site. So as far as the demolition of the building, can you give us your best estimate of when that might come down?
That's spring of next year.
Spring
is what
of
we're
next year.
expecting, yes.
Okay, excellent. What else are you doing? What other developments are we expecting? We talked about it on the video live stream a moment ago of Harbor Shores. There was a vision of what it would be going forward, and you say that you've realized, or Harbor Shores has realized, probably about 50%, half of that vision so far. What's in the other half?
Right. So we've completed about 250 residential units so far. We have lots of irons in the fire right now, Ken.
Yeah.
I think first and foremost that people are really interested in is what we call parcels 1 and 2.
Okay.
Those are, if you're all familiar with where the inn is located.
Yes.
And M63 runs right to the west of that. The old water tower site in St. Joe there, that's along the river, former Whirlpool property, along Whitwam Drive there. So we're in the planning stages still, meeting with the city of St. Joseph soon to just start the discussions about what we're thinking. But what we're thinking there is condos or hotel, a lot of townhome product, some single family product, perhaps an apartment, because the Emma Jean Hall apartments have done so well.
Right.
We'd like to use that as a catalyst to more apartment living. Some amenities there along the riverfront, a pool and a place to hang out, get some food, dock a boat, and got to have pickleball courts. So we're looking at those. That's where I'm headed after this, actually, to play some pickleball. So that's kind of the idea there. Just like with Modern Plastics, although not polluted site, we got to go through the planning stages and then the infrastructure construction, and then the vertical, the housing starts to get built. So we're probably a year or two off from seeing significant residential development there. But in the meantime, it's going to be planning and infrastructure and kind of getting things all set up probably through the year 2025.
Okay. So you own all the property down there, parcels 1 and 2.
We do.
And so right now this is the time to move forward on those. And so the planning is beginning in earnest.
It is. In another site in St. Joe, which is at the corner of Upton Road and M63, is right there next to the Edgewater development and near the entrance to Gene Clock Park. There's a lot of wetlands there from the old interchange, but we're getting those studied and trying to see where we can build. And we're hopeful that we can, somewhat concurrent with parcels 1 and 2, establish another 50 units there or so. Again, kind of depends on some of the environmental with the wetlands stuff there. And then we have a few other sites within Benton Township that we're looking at. One's just above what is now the Hill District along our 13th golf hole. We have plans for 9 golf villas up there. Those have been submitted to Benton Township for approval through their planning commission. And so there's some infrastructure issues to deal with there that might delay that a bit by a year or so, but that process is beginning. And then we also have another site north on North Shore Drive out by the 11th and 12th holes of Harbor Shores, kind of the far north reaches of the development, where we'd like to get another 25 to 30. There we kind of see a nice market for a senior housing type of thing, single story living, might be attractive to golfers, but also to our seniors, and trying to look at the different mixes of housing that we can provide, and also trying to provide incentive for others to see, if Harbor Shores can do it, so can we.
Yeah. That you just laid out a whole lot of development opportunity in the area. So as far as residentials, are you thinking price ranges in there?
Yeah, housing construction is so expensive right now.
Yeah.
So I think even our small golf villas are in the $300,000 to $400,000 range, and then we kind of go up from there. But generally, kind of looking probably average in the $500,000 range.
Yeah. What is it that you're seeing in this market, in this area, that encourages you? Yep, we can build this many units.
Well, I think the fact that we are building some right now at Harbor Village, which looks to a lot like it's already fully built out.
Yeah.
And Harbor Village is the development right next to the inn.
Yep.
We have a 6-unit townhome underway. Those are selling before we get them done.
Wow.
We have 16 lots available along the marina right next to the inn. We haven't broken ground yet, but we hope to break ground in the next couple of weeks there. And before we've even broken ground, we have reservations for those units.
That's
So
encouraging.
the demand is there. Certainly with our major employers like Whirlpool and Corwell and others, we're seeing still an influx of folks into town. So, as long as that demand is there, we want to try to meet it.
Yeah, very good. What do you see? We're talking with Chris Cook. He is the president of the Harbor Shores Community Redevelopment Group. What do you see as potential challenges between this and your vision?
Well, as I've talked, probably the biggest challenges are some of these environmental issues.
Yeah.
And then, always with an eye on the economy and how things are going there. So as long as the economy stays strong and our local industries are hiring, that's great. On top of that, though, I think we still have the tourism component of people that want to visit here and want to come and live here. They come visit, they play the golf course. We have a top 100 golf course. We have beautiful beaches. We have so much to offer here in Southwest Michigan, and people come visit and say, I like this. I'd like to live here.
Yeah.
So we have that component as well.
Yeah, it's a nice competitive advantage.
Yes, it is.
We're talking with Chris Cook, again, president of Harbor Shores Community Redevelopment. We'll continue this conversation and wrap it up in just a few moments right here on the WSJM Morning Show.
It came on again. That check engine light. Why does that thing keep coming on? Want answers? Bring it to Enders Auto Repair. Terry Enders has over 30 years experience solving car.
So exclusive content on the behind the scenes. I just asked Chris, how are we doing? And he said, how are you doing? And I'm like, I'm reeling because I'm a news guy. And that's a lot of interesting information that you've imparted to us today. Thank you.
We have a lot going on, and it's exciting and fun.
Yeah, it is exciting. So as you describe those, are those laid out in any kind of linear order? I mean, time-wise, chronologically?
Yeah, so I think that parcel I mentioned above the Hill District could be the first to go, but for the infrastructure.
What is the infrastructure issue you mentioned?
So there's some sewer capacity issues within the township that they're working on, but it takes a while to work through some of these and find the money and do that sort of thing. So that could happen in 25, 26. The other stuff, our parcel 1 and 2 has a little longer lead. And then with 200 units planned there, a longer development period. So that's probably a 5 to 10 year build out.
That and when you do the actual construction on those, where do the employees typically come from? The construction crews, is that bid out?
We've worked very closely with Mosaic Builders. They're out of Grand Rapids.
Okay,
and they have secured a number of local subs. So most of those subs are coming from local. And Brad and his team from Mosaic are out of Grand Rapids.
Okay. You know why I ask. I mean, we like to, see employment around here.
We sure do.
That's good stuff.
We
All right.
love that.
We're talking with Chris Cook. Hey, I want to ask you, when we come back for our Moody on the Market update, if you don't mind, I'd like to ask you what you do when you're not civil engineering, what you do for your hobbies. And I can imagine some of it's family based as well, but we'll talk about that in just a moment with Chris.
Wedding Professionals, the premier wedding event, is accepting vendors. The Michiana Wedding Expo is back on Sunday, January 19th, 2025 at Corbett Family Hall's Downs Ballroom on the Notre Dame campus. the longest-running #1 wedding event in the area. Don't miss this amazing opportunity to showcase your business to couples eager to plan their perfect day. From florists to photographers, caterers to cake designers. If you offer products or services for weddings or for couples embarking on their next chapter together, we want you there. Don't miss out on networking opportunities and gaining valuable exposure in the vibrant Michiana wedding market. Reserve your booth now and connect with engaged couples in the heart of Michiana. Visit MichianaWeddingExpo.com to sign up today.
Partly to mostly sunny skies today. Chilly forecast overall, though. 30s this morning, 47 this afternoon for the high. At least the winds will be a little lighter. Tonight, clear and cold. We drop down to 34. And tomorrow, we start out with a little peak of sun in the morning, increasing clouds and chances of rain return by Wednesday night. High temperatures near 50. I'm WSBT 22 Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
It's the WSJM Morning Show. 7:52 is the time. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ken Lundberg. My guest this morning is Chris Cook. He's the president of Harbor Shores Community Redevelopment. We've talked about a lot of interesting news about redevelopment and developing some residential areas, some commercial areas in that Harbor Shores area in Benton Harbor and St. Joseph. But as part of our Moody on the Market update, I wanted to ask you some personal questions. So let's formally begin the Moody on the Market update. It's brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today, your local auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles. And Chris, you hold so many positions, excuse me, both inside engineering and inside some of the community development, redevelopment groups. What do you do? When do you find spare time in your schedule? What does your schedule look like?
I get asked that quite a bit. I think busy people and engaged people are busy people all the time. And so we just keep going.
Yeah.
But when you're not exercising your mind, exercise your body. And so that's a lot of what I do outside of work.
Okay.
I play pickleball, I play golf, I work out, we bike. For the last several years, my wife and I and some friends from town here have taken international bike trips. So we'll go for 1 to 2 weeks off to a foreign place and see communities like you can't see with so much history. You can't see from a car or a bus, but on a bike, you're going slower and you can just take a lot more in. So that's been a lot of fun. And then I have 3 daughters. One lives out in Denver. She's married. One lives here. She's married. Her husband works for Marsh, which is cool.
Nice.
And my youngest is actually at law school at Wisconsin. But my middle one, who lives here, has a child, Luca, and he's 6 months old, our first and only grandson. So
congratulations.
Thank you. My wife and I love spending time with him as well. I think Katie, my wife, makes an excuse to bring something over to their house every day, whether it's junk mail or whatever. Hey, you guys want to take a look at this?
I've got this direct mail from a politician 2 weeks ago.
Exactly. Just so she can get a peek at Luca.
That's
So
great.
it's awesome.
That's fantastic. Well, congratulations. So your first grandchild.
Yes.
What's it like being a granddad?
It is great. He's a smiler and just,
have you gone Christmas shopping for him yet?
You hold him, we every time we go to the store, my wife comes home with a little outfit for him. So it's awesome. Actually, a family tradition that we've had since COVID is that every year we give our kids some money to go and we all go downtown St. Joe and buy our own presents because we don't know what to get these kids anymore and support the local economy and they get what they want. So it's worked out great.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you for sharing this. So as a civil engineer, do you ever build models? I mean, because I have I have a chief information officer friend of mine, and his fun is to build scale model replicas of ships, old battleships and that kind of thing. But I mean, you as a civil engineer, you're basically building models real life, real scale.
We are.
Do you ever do that?
Architects do that more than engineers.
Okay.
But in our business, a lot of it's done on the CAD. So you can kind of get a visualization of what it's going to look like on the computer.
Yeah.
So rather than a physical model, it's that e-model.
Since you mentioned it, AI, does it change the way civil engineers work?
It is, and it's gonna more. we're starting to rely on it a little bit for memo writing and things like that.
Okay.
I just heard a talk last week that said positions like engineers and others that are sort of in this, what you might call intelligence business, are more likely to use AI and more likely to be replaced someday by AI. Whereas bricklayers and dancers and people of that ilk can't be replaced by AI. So going to be an interesting challenge here over the years to show the value of the human mind in the process of engineering.
Advice for students who might have their parents listening right now?
Well, I think advice for students is always follow your passions, what you love doing, work hard at it, and enjoy what you do. It's a long life. You spend a lot of your time at work. You might as well get into something that you really enjoy.
Love it. All right. Chris Cook, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Chris is the president of the Harbor Shores Community Redevelopment Organization. We appreciate you sharing the information this morning, and keep us updated.
Will do. Been great being here. Thank you, Ken.
You bet. It's 7:56. It's the WSJM Morning Show. We'll be back with more news in just a couple of minutes.
It's Jason Avery, veteran and co-owner of Lakefront Roofing and Exteriors.
Veterans Day is an opportunity to celebrate all who have served in a military capacity, regardless of active duty, reserve, or guard. For those who served in combat or peacetime, it's an opportunity to thank all the men and women who signed a contract, whether by draft or volunteer, to lay it all on the line for a country, constitution, and citizenship we were willing to serve and protect. A veteran is not necessarily someone that has paid the ultimate sacrifice, but it is someone that swore an oath to do so if called upon. This Veterans Day, all I ask is this: if you see or know of a veteran in your community, welcome them home. For some, coming home was not guaranteed or welcomed. And from me to you, my brothers and sisters, thank you for your service. And P.S., go Army, beat Navy.
So they just passed a real milestone. Over 32 years in business. For over 32 years, Pro Muffler and Brake Shop has been earning their customers' trust by doing things the right way and standing behind their work. And now they're taking it a step further. Pro Muffler and Brake Shop is now a gold certified Napa Auto Care Center. They set the industry standard with ASE certified technicians, Napa best quality parts, and a nationwide peace of mind warranty for 36 months or 36,000 miles on your covered repair.
And thanks again for joining on the video live stream. I was just saying bye to Chris, and I saw the comment from Larry Wozniak on, he asked if we could ask Chris if, lest we forget, could use the water tower location in June of 2025, so this coming year. And Larry, his answer was very likely, because they'll probably not be building by then. And so positive news for you right there from the WSJM Morning Show. So we appreciate everyone who was listening this morning. Larry, I would imagine you might want to reach out to Chris or his organization for more information on that. Got to get to news, but thanks for joining us. We appreciate you on the WSJM video live stream. We'll be back tomorrow.